so we're not all held up. John will be coming in. Thank you for coming. This is a special meeting of the council. We decided to go ahead and make an actual council meeting so that all of the council members could be involved. And the meeting tonight will just focus on the cease and desist order given to the Plains Trap Club. The town believes that the Trap Club is in violation of the lease agreement. We had a discussion last Monday night at the council meeting about it, and there was the minutes of that will present the concerns, arguments, thoughts that were brought up at that. We want to give it another shot to see if we can discuss, find what the intentions are, and see if we can work together as Trap Club and the council. I think we'll go ahead and begin our meeting. If you're all right, we'll waive the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll just go ahead and begin. Hopefully John will be able to come back in shortly. Yes, sir.
Should we also note for the record that the city attorney is appearing by telephone?
For the record, yes, Lauren Fitzpatrick is online on FaceTime. So.
Can you hear us, Lauren?
Yep, Chad, I got you loud and clear.
Okay.
So, question, I guess, to kick things off, has there been any movement or thought from the Trap Club about the requests of the town on the agreement and the questions we have?
I haven't seen a request from the town.
The requests are listed at the bottom. As such, no later than May 9th, 2025, the Trap Club is hereby directed to remove all signs mandating entrance or membership fees payable to the Plains Trap Club. This includes removing the sign attached to this letter, as well as the fee box pictured. Number 2, discontinue charging the public a membership fee or other fee for the use of the shooting range. And 3, immediately cease and desist subletting the shooting range. This includes removing and canceling any agreement to sublet the property to third parties without the town's advance written consent.
We don't have any written agreement to sublet. Bud pays a token amount of rent. We pay the power and the propane, and he pays a token amount, $400 a month rent. And then works the rest of the rent off, mowing and plowing and miscellaneous work around the Trap Club.
Lauren, could you hear them from the other side of the room?
They need to come up to the
Yeah,
podium.
barely. I think I did. I wasn't quite clear as to what was going on. It sounds like they have some sort of an agreement where they don't take money in, but they take services in exchange for rent.
If I heard correctly, they take $400 a month token rent, and then the rest of his rent is paid through plowing, mowing, kind of doing some services.
And what is, I'm sorry, what is token rent? How would you define that?
A minimal amount.
Minimal amount.
A minimal amount of rent.
Okay, so then we're in a for-profit category, are we not? Or are we?
No, to get into the for-profit category, you would have to show disbursements to private persons. No money leaves that Trap Club that way. It's all used for improvements and supplies, repairs. There's no money dispersed to any people, so I'm not sure how you're getting to this for-profit thing.
Okay, and this is the issue that we're dealing with, is the for-profit category is not clearly defined in the lease. It just says for-profit. And so if we're taking in more money than the Trap Club uses each year, then obviously it may be the town's position that you're in the for-profit category. Does that make sense?
If they're making more money than we spend,
Like for instance, and I can't really speak to this because Chad probably knows a lot more than me, but like if you're taking in this money and you're accruing a substantial amount in your Trap Club account, although it's not currently payable to other people, you're accruing that money if your expenses are, you know, less than your income. Which is a concern, and the main reason that's a concern is because you have private citizens now that want to use that place for their benefit, and their money would then just be accruing in some trap club account, but that's kind of a concern, you see.
What's a substantial amount?
A substantial, I mean, look, if it's continuing to increase each year, and you're not, and you have more money than the expenses that you're paying each year, aren't we kind of in I would argue that we're in a for-profit category. Say for instance, like the town was to cancel this lease, or the trap club was to cancel this lease, and now you have, you know, $10,000 in the account. I'm not saying that's what you have, but over the next 10 years, you just put an extra $1,000 in each year. Where's the money going at that point?
We've never had an occasion where the money just keeps on building. Prices of everything goes up. We have to buy shells to sell to members. We have to buy targets to throw for the members. We have to pay electricity, and we have to pay propane. And we have to, you know, just maintain things, repair trap machines, buy supplies.
Okay, you might have cut out there, but also, like, not only are you taking in the $400 per month, but you also have all the membership fees that are coming in, right?
We do, but tell me this, why are we being treated different than the golf course?
What would you estimate you pull in per year in membership fees?
Why are we being treated different than the golf course? They've taken membership fees, $675 a year to be a member to golf there. And they rent out cart sheds. They got a sign right outside the door that says no free golf.
Okay, and you're cutting out a bit, so I can't exactly make out what you're saying, but we're not looking at the golf club lease right now, and I'm not even privy to that lease, to be honest. I just think the public has a right to know how much money per year you're charging in membership fees. If you account for all the membership fees, do you have a value for that?
We spend most of the membership fees on insurance.
I know, but our question is, and my question, if I was a concerned citizen and I looked at this lease, I would want to know how much money you're bringing in membership fees per year, and that's a number you should probably be able to tell me.
I don't know the exact membership. Typically, most of the memberships are paid by league shooters, and we have probably 60 or 70 shooters.
Yeah.
You know, this all comes down to what's fair under the lease agreement, and I see the intent of the lease agreement. You're to carry insurance. You're also not to operate for profit, and you're also not to sublet. And so, I mean, I'll let the mayor speak or Chad Cantrell, but I think the public's concern right now is that you're bringing in more money than your expenses, and I'm just concerned that you're not able to tell the general public how much you bring in per year in trap member fees, given the fact that is the main concern.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you're together talking about the trap club. But what about the shooting range where we use our own ammo, we use our own targets, we use pretty much our own shooting stands, once in a while a sandbag. So I was charged the $30, $35 to use the shooting range, not being a part of the trap club, just the shooting range. And I was told by the manager that it was for insurance and upkeep for sandbags and plywood or OSB board. So how do we define the difference between the club itself versus the general public that wants to use a shooting range?
What's your name, I'm sorry?
Josh Black.
Josh Black. Okay, thank you, Josh.
A very, very valid point, because again, this is another concern. If we're taking in fees from private citizens, and then the trap club members are the beneficial party, and they're using their own target, or they're using the money from the citizens for their targets, I mean, it's unfair. I think Chad had an idea to kind of divvy that up that we had spoke about on the phone, and if he wants to speak about that, I think that may be beneficial.
So first of all, I would have Mr. Black. So when you paid that $35 or $30, was it 30?
If it was a
You-
family,
you-
family
it was a
membership, it would be
family.
30.
Okay.
It was 30.
Could you tell us about that experience? Could you tell us about that experience about having to pay? What happened?
When I went to go shoot on March 23rd, I noticed all the signs were up. And when I went to the house, knocked on the door, and I wanted to kind of clarify what was going on and since when did we have to start paying. And he said, we're putting up signs, more signs now, and I have to pay the yearly fee for insurance reasons. And then I said, okay, does that also include sandbags and OSB boards and maybe even my own targets? And he said, yes, it does. I said, okay, I guess I'll be back and go grab my checkbook.
And where did you have to drive to retrieve your
I had to
check?
drive all the way back to Upper Lynch to go get my checkbook and drive all the way back.
So did you feel that that was a
Mandatory?
strong recommendation for you to
No.
be a member, or do you believe that it was a requirement for you to be a member?
Made it clear and I felt that it was a requirement. I go there and I see all these required membership signs and then he clearly states that the insurance is making them pay fees so that, you know, for insurance reasons.
And the sign that you read clearly states
Clearly says
required.
Single, I forget the exact number, family was 30 a year.
Okay, thank you. So what Lauren and I had talked about earlier, you're talking about the insurance requires that people be a member. Is it possible to be a member without paying a membership? Do the people that don't shoot trap, that just use the rifle range, fill out a card to become a member? And then
Well,
they
so-
get to use the shooting range in the spirit of what the contract or the agreement is?
well, why don't you run down to the golf course and see if they'll
Marv, this
use
isn't
the
about the
driving
golf
range,
course.
but don't play around
It's
at all.
not about the golf course, this is about the shooting club.
Okay, the insurance stipulates that we're supposed to have a range manager or close to the public. In this day and age, things that happen, closing it off to the public is not an option because it's a public shooting spot. We do monitor it in the sense of keeping it clean. The insurance, a $30 membership a year to be included in an insurance policy. If something were to happen to them, then they're covered by insurance. If they're not a member, they're not covered by our insurance policy. And in this day and age, when Harry was there, he was our range manager,
And a good one.
and a good one. And did he ever ask you for a membership?
When I shot trap, he did,
And not at the rifle range?
not that I can recall.
Because he would specifically at our yearly meetings give us a figure on the people that he would bring from the rifle range in as a member, and he tallied it over years. And at that time, there was no free plywood and yada, yada, yada. Sandbags he made, plywood we were buying, you know?
Well, and he told me one time that he picked up all the discarded brass out there and sold it at gun shows in order to pay for the plywood.
Well, I don't think all of it. But
Okay.
that's neither here nor there.
Let me just put this out there. That infrastructure, those two sheds and those concrete slabs and all the shooting benches and the baffles and even the excavation to make those shooting lanes, the trap club paid and their trap club volunteers worked to put all those improvements in. There was no participation from rifle shooters,
How much of that was paid for by NRA and Fish and Game grants?
none.
And
None.
We got a grant from Fish and Game, if we look back far enough, for like, one trap machine. We were buying two and they would pay for one. And that was 25 years ago.
How is the public rifle shooters to know what's going on with the private trap club? If they have their meetings and their cleanups, but don't tell the general public, hey, can you volunteer an hour to help clean up? How are we supposed to know? Just like when you're putting up signs, how is I supposed to know that it's going to be charged?
Well,
So if you guys are gonna do needing cleaned up or needing extra OSB boards, I've got OSB boards, yeah, I'll donate some, but how am I supposed to know if you guys don't?
if you show up randomly and we don't have contact with you, there's no way for you to know.
Well, I personally know that Joel Cotton has donated 2x4s and sheet goods and screws and garbage bags. And there have been a number of people who aren't trap shooters typically that have gone out there and replaced the backstops and hauled the garbage away.
That just started happening the last couple of years, when we started to blow our neck about the maintenance.
the rifle people are the ones that are shooting it up too and destroying the rifle range.
Shooting up the supports for the baffles and such.
I would get the fact that that's where you're likely gonna have your vandalism, just because it's not, anytime you're at the trap club, you're at the trap club, you know? But there's also kind of two things going on there. You do have a lot of people at any given year that are just utilizing the rifle range or the pistol range. I used to shoot trap out there and didn't have a problem with, you know, of course I was fine to.
I think one of the main issues here is insurance. You know, if the rifle shooters want to band together and get their own liability, or the city wants to cover the rifle range, we'll donate all the infrastructure in the rifle range back to the rifle shooters if they want to run it.
But the lease agreement says that you guys will maintain a shooting range open to the public and carry the insurance.
Yeah.
That's what the lease agreement says.
Right, up to a point, as long as there's not damage. As long as you can allow the people in without undue damage, it says.
Has there been any undue damage lately?
I don't know, it's been ongoing, you know, and even just the cleanup in the outhouses. You know, who wants to do that?
You put a lock on the outhouse and only open it on trap events and Tuesdays,
open to the
Thursdays, and
public then?
Sundays? Well, it doesn't say that you'll maintain an outhouse, it means that you'll maintain a shooting range.
Doesn't say you have to give public restrooms, so that's, you know, I don't see that. So in Thompson Falls, I know that they lease their property from the county and not all of their shooters are members. So do they have a different insurance company or a different insurance
I
deal that we can look into that?
don't know who their insurance company is. We use Lockton Affinity, and it's kind of through NRA.
Well, if it's a public shooting range, then they're taking the same risk of going to the mountains and shooting. So if you want to be safe but not pay insurance, why don't you just have a sign saying shoot at your own risk?
And that's what Thompson Falls, I've been told, I haven't seen it myself. They have a sign that says, if you are not a member, our insurance does not cover you.
That's correct.
But it is correct?
Yeah, that's what it
But
says.
you're taking that risk, but you're also on county or city property, in whichever case it may be. And whoever has an incident And if they feel they've been wronged, they're gonna hire an attorney, and where are they gonna go with that? You know, none of us have deep enough pockets for that.
That'd be a good question for Lauren. Lauren, what are your thoughts on the legalities
Chad and I
here?
spoke about that, and I have a big concern. I don't see how Thompson Falls is covered in the event that, I mean, a good attorney could definitely milk them for every dime they have if someone was to be shot out there, so I don't understand how that, them just having some prefatory clause that says shoot at your own risk is okay. I don't understand that. I mean, it would be interesting to see the agreement they have. I certainly wouldn't be of the position to tell Plains that that is a good idea, because first I'd want to talk with our insurance provider. But I think that the main issue we're running into is that, one, like my main concern is, can the Trap Club itemize their expenses? Can they tell us how much they pay each year for insurance, so that we can assess the fee as fair? Because I think ultimately it comes down to citizens feel that this is an unfair fee because they feel like in the aggregate they should be paying much less. And I would be curious if the Trap Club could tell us, and I think I know the answer, what their annual insurance rate is. What is the premium each year?
$1,600 and some dollars.
$1,600 and some dollars.
$1,600 a year, okay. How many members are in the Trap Club? I'm sure they could tell us that.
Did you say 60 or 70 members, or do you have more members than that now?
Of league shooters, yeah.
There's 60 or 70 league shooters, but I don't think that includes maybe like the Mr. Blacks here who have signed a membership but don't shoot trap. Do you know how many of those you have currently?
I've kept track since, the end of February, and I think we got like 40.
40?
Just on the rifle.
40 more. So there's maybe, what, 110 members maybe? Okay.
And how much are they each paying? What's the membership fee?
Individuals 25, families 30.
Okay, so we're looking at, I don't know, between 25 and 30 times 100, that's 2,500 to 3,000. Plus the rent each year is another 4,800. So you're looking at 7,800 a year at most. Your insurance is 1,600. The difference is 6,000. So I think that the public just needs to know, where is the other $6,000 that you're getting on top of paying your insurance premium going? And that's point one. Point two is that isn't even including this forced effort to try to get more people to pay. So if you forced every member to pay, that was to show up, you'd probably be more in the ballpark of $12,000 a year in addition. So the question is, I think for the public, where is the extra $6,000 per year going that you're taking in beyond insurance?
It goes into improvements, supplies, repairs, improvements.
Did you hear that, Lauren? Improvements, supplies, and repairs.
Yeah, improvements,
Did you say
supply,
repairs and improvements?
and supplies. And that's for the Trap Club, basically, correct? Because you guys don't buy a lot of supplies for the shooting range right now. A lot of them are donated. So it goes to kind of upkeeping the Trap Club.
So why don't we just, this is an idea, why don't you just have two classes of membership? You have one class that doesn't get all the benefits, like a tier 1 member. They get the water bottles, they get the targets, they get all the benefits. And then you have tier 2, which still is covered under the insurance, and they pay a lesser rate. I don't understand why that wouldn't be doable.
I've had people from the rifle range come over and say, can I shoot trap? Well, of course you can. We're open Saturday afternoons, Thursday nights, and so if they want to shoot at the rifle or have mostly shoot at the rifle range, they come over and they do shoot trap also.
So then my question is, it seems like you're drawing the line as, hey, don't use this facility unless you're paying a membership fee. But in my mind, it's more reasonable to say, hey, you cannot shoot trap or use our facilities or equipment, over here if you're not a tier 1 member. And then you can segregate it by, hey, you're still covered by liability insurance, which is $1,600 a year. However, you're not entitled to all of the other benefits. I don't understand why that wouldn't be a talking point. And it's an idea, right? I'm throwing it out there, just trying to get everyone thinking.
Well, and I guess I apologize. Can you circle back to how we're making $6,000 a year from memberships?
And the
Get
rent.
100 members.
We get paid.
He included the $400 a month rent.
Oh,
Well,
That's $4,800
Am I
a
talking
year.
over someone?
well,
Sorry.
what do you think it costs?
They were
for-
asking where you got the money from, he didn't realize that you'd thrown in the $400 a month rent from, yeah, the guy up in the trailer.
What do
Okay.
you think it costs a year for electricity and propane?
Well, being on probably a budget billing for one guy living in the house, how can that,
Well, we're not
can't be that
talking about
much?
just the house, we have 3 meters out there. So,
What are the meters running?
well, they're, the clubhouse, the storage building, and the residence.
And lights.
Do you guys charge for, like when you have the ATA shoots and stuff, do you charge for a lot there to park their RVs?
We do. And trap shooters also pay for their targets for practice or league or ATA shooting, they pay for their targets. You know, but like I said, a load of targets is 25,000. We get a load every year. So it ain't like it's, we're not all taking money out of it and sending our kids to college.
No,
And that's not the allegation, Mark. I mean,
I
it's
guess I'm
not.
wondering where it says in the lease, we have to provide an accounting to the city for our income and expenses. So, you know,
I'm gonna guess number 6 can't be used for, it has to be, can't be used for any for-profit activities. I'm gonna guess that's probably where that accounting would kind of come in.
I mean, certainly any not-for-profit that I am aware of, there, you know, you need to have a budget, those things budgeted. It's not like you have to be destitute or, you know, have no money in your funds. That's not even a good idea. I get that. And I don't think that's the primary concern here. I think the primary concern that we're looking at is making it available to the public. I think the tiered thing is reasonable. It's a thought. You know, for those that are getting the benefits of the trap club and those that, because you do have a good number of people in the community, and I've gotten letters from some of them, those that are aware, certainly not all of them, because, you know, at this stage in my life, I get out there maybe once or twice a year to sight in my rifle for hunting season. I think there's a lot of people in the community that have used it for that. And, you know, that, you know, unless they're feeling really altruistic and want to just support the trap club, which is fine, they're also thinking, man, I can buy a box of shells for, or used to be able to buy a box of shells for, you know, $25. And so they're thinking, hey, you know, I'm just going to go up in the woods and put a paper plate on a tree. But I think the idea of the original lease and the people that were on the board at that time was to keep that available for people to do that, to be able to come someplace close into town and sight in their rifles if they wanted to.
Well, I think it comes down to liability. Who's gonna take the liability?
I have a question. Do any of your trap club people use the rifle or pistol range?
Oh,
Yes.
occasionally they certainly do.
I'm one of them.
And how many do you think that is?
Oh, probably, it could be 20-30% or more,
I bet it'd be more like
50.
probably 50-60%.
Considering everybody maybe, like Joel was saying, sighting in the rifle, hunt range, or just buy a new weapon and get it go out and do something, shoot it, see what you got. So, you know, you guys then would be using the rifle pistol range, so there's benefit just to having it there just for yourselves, correct?
I don't know if the benefit outweighs the risk, the exposure, and the problems.
Well, every time I go there, I don't see anybody being reckless. I mean, accidents do happen, I agree with you on that. But for all the years that I've used it, everybody has always communicated and used firearm safety and been very safe out there.
And you're correct in that thought, what you've seen. But you've also seen the damage that has been done out there.
I would say those beams have been shot.
Yep. And
Sure.
sign that says, do not shoot these beams,
Right.
has been shot.
Right, when you get a whole bunch of people out there versus trap clubs and you have an open area, you're not gonna do as much damage. I guarantee you, if you start putting beams and shooting ranges for the trap club, they're gonna start shooting, they're gonna accidentally shoot your beams.
Some of it may well be accidental, some of it absolutely nefarious. There's no way of getting around
There's
that.
no doubt
Yeah.
that, there's no doubt that it's happened and it's
Yeah.
been intentional, but it's
Yeah.
that 3%, it's not, you know, it's not the majority of the people that are going out there and using that range, but, you know,
And it's happened
So
for,
why don't-
as long as it's been open.
Why isn't there a group of rifle shooters and pistol shooters taking care of the rifle range?
there are.
I think it's.
And when did that start?
It started when Harry stopped. Basically, you've got Dan Rowan, Rich Cotty, Dennis Olson, Richard McDonald, Curtis Pickering, Jerry Gaddy, Dan Johnson, me. You and I talked about garbage bags at one time, and you left them for me for a while, and then they just dried up.
Yeah.
But there are a number of us that go up there and pick up garbage, haul it to the dump, put up new boards, constantly policing up the trash and helping out.
And have we made you become a member?
No, you haven't
Okay.
made me become a member, and I won't be a member.
Yeah.
If you're
So,
telling me that I have to be a member, I won't be.
okay, so maybe we need to change our sign in the language and say, if you would like to be a member and help with insurance costs, this is what it costs you to be a member of the shooting facility that's there.
Well, but it's still leaving people open for liability under our insurance if they're not a member.
Well, I think you're always gonna have that. People are gonna show up and shoot that aren't members. That's probably never
Well-
going to disappear.
And we live in a litigious society.
Right, but then that's their responsibility too.
So what about volunteers coming out if they're not members? Where do they fall under the insurance? Because I think a lot of this is getting the word out.
Mhm.
People who have looked know that the agreement says that the trap club is gonna maintain the shooting range. If people don't know they need help or that there's a need there that they could help participate in, they're not gonna offer. But if people know, you might get more people willing to donate or come out, donate time, donate product.
Well, you can go out there and I went out there today with a number of the other council members individually, and you look at the rifle range and there's weeds and garbage and you know, it needs a lot of work. And then you look at the trap club and the lawns mowed, the sidewalks blown off. I mean, it looks like somebody is really caring for the trap club and taking care of that, but it looks like, you know, the rifle ranges and the pistol range are in another dimension.
Okay.
You know,
So then, your group that you have there, are they doing any of that? Taking care of the weeds? Picking up the garbage is only one part of it. You just stated that. All the weeds that are up there,
they're not collecting fees from people for that. They're doing it on their own. They're not collecting memberships from anybody. They're going out there on their own and doing it.
we take care of the trap club on our own. Nobody gets paid for that. We are all volunteers. And that's the other part of it. In this day and age, in the old days, people used to volunteer a lot more. Not anymore.
I know you can have 50 people be a volunteer and you'll have 5 people that do
That
all the
show
same
up.
work.
That's
I
right.
know exactly how
That's
that
right.
works. But, you know, the talk of the fees that go, you know, to all of the upkeep out there, if that was in fact happening, why would the local lumberyard have to donate materials for the upkeep? See, that's part of the problem too.
Yeah.
So, but the shooters don't do their upkeep. They're not supplying the wood. They're still getting it from the local lumber guy.
He's donating it and the shooters are putting it up.
Right.
If you want to read number 9 in your lease agreement, it says the trap club shall maintain the shooting range and the shooting range improvements in good condition subject to reasonable wear, period. Doesn't have any ifs, ands, or buts. That's your agreement, signed by Marvin.
We don't have the person.
You wanna keep your agreement or don't you? That's where it comes down to.
I think the
It's a
agreement,
yes or no question.
I think the agreement needs some changes.
Well,
Well, you made changes before you came and talked to us about it. That's the problem,
Well,
period.
it was based on vandalism and
Doesn't matter what it was based on, Marvin.
I think we all understand that it probably would have been a good idea to keep the town, and I think in the future, we do want to keep the town abreast of what we're doing. We want to be in communication on it and come to an agreement that we can live by. If we need to cancel the present lease agreement and sit down at a table and to build a new one, I imagine that's something we can do, certainly. And actually, that's what part of this meeting is to do, to see what is the next step. Is that the next step that we need to make? But I do know that it's also, from what I understand from the concern of the public and, the people of the town, is that they would like to still have that accessible and for a reasonable price. And so maybe that, I don't know, maybe a tiered thing is something that we could bring into that. I'm not the one that,
what kind of fee would you be happy with? None over there.
Well, and respectfully, Marv, free is free.
Doesn't
No,
say free anywhere in there.
It says open to the public.
That
If
doesn't-
it's not free, it means that you have to buy a membership, and that means it's a club.
Well, the golf course is open to the
We're not
public,
talking
too.
about the golf course. The golf course has green fees, they pay somebody to cut the grass, they pay somebody to fill the divots. You know, they have to pay somebody to be there at the clubhouse to rent out carts. It's a whole different ballgame. We're not talking about the golf course, this is the shooting club.
It's also on city property.
It is on city property, and they've got their separate lease that they're abiding by. This is about the lease with the track club.
Well,
Go-
have they got agreements in place, or have they notified you about subletting cart sheds?
are they subletting cart sheds?
Every day. Renting out carts and
Oh.
renting out, sheds to bring them.
Joel, you mind if I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think ultimately this comes down to a vision for the trap club, the goal for the trap club, and I think there's a certain group of people that want a really, I'm not gonna say bougie or nice establishment, but they certainly want more benefits. And then there's a certain class of citizens that want to just keep it, minimalistic and just come out and shoot. And I think that's all it comes down to. And I think we can keep going around in circles, but honestly, I think if we could identify, what the group of people wants that want all the benefits and what the group of people want that want minimal benefits and just want to go out and shoot, I think we could resolve this. And I also agree that when it comes to the agreement, it could have been better written because we have one provision that says it's open to the public and then another provision that says that insurance needs to be maintained, and there's no getting around that. That's all I have to say.
So how is it fair for somebody who's just visiting family to come through, shoot, use the facilities, trapping or rifle, pistol, just use the facilities versus someone like locals who are paying it and they come through, destroy everything like we all agree, and then we get in trouble for it. So either keep it public or we're paying fees and not allow the general public to go, or there's a fine line on.
But I guess I have a question, so I know that we talk a lot about the golf course, which is way different. Are you guys wanting to become a for-profit company out there and take it over like the golf course is?
Are they for profit?
I would.
No, they're not.
They're not? Well, I know they make a lot of money and whatever their lease is allows them
Very
to-
similar
and they pay a
agreement,
lot of
actually.
money out, so,
Yeah.
and they have people who are there intentionally managing it every day.
They have
during the season.
employees.
Correct, lots of employees, so
Yeah.
is
But
that
they're-
something you guys wanna do, hire
No,
employees and?
No, we don't want to have a presence every day
Okay.
there, that's the problem. If
Okay.
we had somebody there every day to be a range manager,
Yeah.
then the liability wouldn't be a problem.
Well, but then you could have people paying to use it because you have employees, and I don't know, that would change the contract a bit if I'm understanding it.
So what, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, even if we had a range manager then you still have some liability, I would suspect, and then everybody has a life. He might only be able to be there for 4 hours or 6 hours a day, 4 days a week or something, you know? And that's not gonna work for people who want to practice.
Right.
You know, you wanna go there when you wanna go there.
What about? Is it possible to find somebody like Harry again? I mean, is it possible to put?
No, about time to
I
put
mean,
the
is it
AC on.
possible?
So, you're unemployed?
Well, I'm a full-time single mom, I am plenty time, I'm plenty busy.
And that's what we're up against.
I'm plenty busy.
We were very happy when we got Harry. I mean, that was his forte. He moved from Superior over here for that purpose. You just don't find that anymore. The whole world has changed. 2020, when the pandemic hit, the world went upside down. Nobody wants to do anything that doesn't better only themselves.
There
Well, I
was,
mean, some people do.
How
about the beautification? Come on.
There are a few out there, that's right, but the majority, I mean, nobody's knocking on our door. You know, I'd like to be a range manager here,
Right?
Rob?
you know?
I just want to add this in here real quick. We are grasping onto a concept that does not exist anywhere else anymore. You do not go and find free rifle pistol ranges anywhere. You don't go to towns and cities and go shoot and have it be free and they have new boards up and it's clean. That's not a thing.
It is here.
But this, I'm sorry, it's time. I mean, you're right. It is here, and it was 25 years ago when they signed the lease. But fast forward 25 years, it's not that way anymore. We're grasping onto something that doesn't exist anymore. These guys are frustrated because you're right. You go out to the rifle range, the pistol range. It's thrashed. It's beat up. People are shooting it up. It's exploded. All that stuff is junk, garbage everywhere. So they're frustrated because they're having to take care of that. The people that shoot at the rifle range are upset. Hey, you want to charge me $30 to go shoot here, but I go out there, there's no boards up, everything's shot up, the sandbags are tore up, so they're upset. Really, if I don't think that me as a public member, I wouldn't have a problem paying the $30 a year to have a membership as long as when I went out there, it was clean. There were new boards up, things like that, and then the $30 wasn't going to maintain the trap club. But I think, like you said, it happened, there was no conversation about it, it was one day it was free, the next day the signs are up, there was no conversation that went to it, but there's not free rifle ranges anywhere anymore. You have to pay everywhere you go, whether you're a member or not. If you're a member, it's less, but you still get to pay for it. It's a concept that's dead, it's not there anymore. That's just the black and white.
Are you saying there's no towns around us that have a free shooting range, like you pay every time you go to Thompson Falls to shoot?
Yeah,
Because I don't go shooting
there's
anymore,
rifle
so-
ranges that won't let you shoot anything but their ammo they sell you. And they crank it up and sell the snot out of it. I mean, that's just the way of the world. Plains is great. I'm not complaining about where we're at, but we're 25 years in the past.
I wonder if, you know, as Lauren was talking about a tier 1, tier 2, if one is I'm just paying memberships for trap club, so whatever money comes in on that side goes to trap club, I'm only paying membership for shooting range and that money goes to maintain the shooting range, or I want to do the one that they split my pot, I want to do both, and maybe then you could show that the money that maybe Mr. Black is paying is going to go for some of those upkeeps, or to hire somebody to come in an hour a week to clean up the garbage or something.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, whatever fees do come in, right now, it's volunteers that do the work. You know, other than Bud, and he has a full-time job, you know.
Right.
And
Well, my guess is could you guys, if you were taking in fees on both sides, be able to hire somebody who came out once a week for an hour or two to clean the bathroom if that's an issue, clean up the garbage, change the boards if they need to be, I mean, is that something that would show a Mr. Black that his money, if he's paying it, is going to the shooting range?
I don't know if we could find such a person.
Sure, there's a high school kid that would
Yeah,
do that.
high school kid or, right?
I hire people every day, and we're looking for somebody to clean the office, and it's near impossible, you know.
Do you think one of the members might enjoy who likes what they're doing, who instead of going out there and volunteering and so I'm getting burnt out, says, yeah, I'll take that hour and a half a week thing to come out and do them and getting paid
I
for it.
don't know, that would, several years ago after Harry passed, there was a discussion among the rifle shooters about starting a rifle club, getting their own, articles of incorporation and insurance, and doing their own thing with the rifle range and maintaining it. And it was, like Mike Flake and Matt Cockrell and several other people, a couple other people, Dan Rowan, but it just never came to fruition, it never happened. And that would have been the ideal situation, really.
And I wonder if you put out to those people who are using it consistently, if they would be willing to take on that responsibility. I mean, obviously as a volunteer, you can't require it, but if they say, I'll take that responsibility and I'll do it for $20 or whatever.
If we were not responsible for the rifle range, and these guys wanted to take it on, as long as we're not liable for it, we would have no issue with that, I don't think.
Well, but I think that would come in, if you guys are taking the fees, you would have to stay responsible
We
for
wouldn't take no fees,
from the shooting range, that you would not require them to be members.
no. No, you do your own thing with it.
And that fee from the shooting range is more or less, it's not mandatory. I mean, it does say if you wanna be
It's
a member.
required.
It says.
No, it says you have to
it
do it,
says
I read it.
you are required to be a member to use this shooting range.
Pretty clear.
And do you? No.
I tell you what.
He
well,
made me feel like I
Tony-
was required, if I have a shoot, I have to pay the money.
I did
Yeah,
not,
it says it's required.
I did not use that range from the day that it was posted until the day that the city attorney had the cease and desist letter posted. I didn't go out there until that was posted.
It says due to insurance requirements. That's only, I guess, if you want to be covered by insurance. And it'd be up to the lawyers to fight it out if you weren't, and something happened and you weren't, I guess.
I'm gonna guess to the layman, if I went out there as a layman and I wanted to shoot and I saw that, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, I'm required to become a member, that is exactly what the signage says. I would read that in no other way. I have to be a member to shoot here. Yeah, there's no wiggle room in that, we are required to use
We're
it.
required by the city to provide insurance policy. We couldn't buy insurance without agreeing to their conditions.
Oh, and I get that, what I was saying is, it doesn't look like it's a suggestion, it does say it's required, I would read that as,
Yeah.
I don't have a choice.
Yeah, let's give Lauren, go ahead, Lauren.
Like this issue is just becoming kind of convoluted. It just comes down to this, like the lease says you all have to have insurance, and then the public is given free access to it. And so in my mind, it is, you got one class of citizens that pays for the insurance, meets the requirements of the lease, but what you're reading into this trap club lease agreement is so many things that weren't contemplated. The gravity of improvements wasn't contemplated. Certain things were contemplated by the public, but now they're being asked to pay for those. And so like to the layman, they're gonna read that lease agreement and say, okay, yeah, I'm fine with paying the insurance, it says it in here, but I'm not fine with how far you've taken this. That's point one, and then point two, we talked about having someone clean up the property, talked about volunteers, talked about having them out there a couple hours a week, but we haven't even talked about the fact that there's an actual range manager out there that's paying rent. Why not, and unless I'm missing something, like this guy is disabled and he can't go out there, why not just reduce his rent and allow him to go out and clean?
Eliminate his rent. That way, if you eliminate his rent and he is not paying anything, you're not subletting the property, so he lives there for free, and then he spends more time out there actively being a range master, which would satisfy the insurance and allow people to go out and use a free shooting range.
He's not retired and he's not ready to retire. He has a full-time job, he's a building contractor. So,
And sometimes he works 7 days a week.
Okay.
so that's not gonna happen with the help we have right now.
It's 5 to 6, and I would like to get people home at a decent hour before people start getting angry. I appreciate the reasonable conversation, and I'd like to keep it that way ongoing. I'm just gonna make a suggestion. it's only a suggestion, and I'd like the council to consider that really, I think maybe we need to look at redoing the lease, looking at all of it with reasonable minds and with, taking in the interests of, again, the people of the town. This has nothing to do with the people sitting there or the people sitting here. It really has to do with what's the best way that we can serve the public around us in the world that we live in that is changing, keeping it as much like, we like to do in Plains. Everything has gone up, but our water rates and sewer haven't. They're gonna have to eventually, I get that, but we try to keep it down. We do all live in a very, very poor town. The people that actually live within the city limits, the median income's very low. Would like to keep things anything that we can keep at a reasonable price, I'd like to do that. And there might be ways of doing that that will work for people, that people will be satisfied with. I know that people have gone out, I've gotten complaint letters, the city's gotten complaint letters about, going out and feeling compelled to pay, a $25 personal membership. Some of those people, again, are that tier 1 type of person that might go out there once or twice a year. And we have to keep that person in mind. I'd like to have that available so they're not trying to find a flat spot in the road on the way up to Pat's Knob, and shoot a windshield out, right? So,
Beer bottles and toilets and refrigerators.
yeah, exactly. We can't fix the moral failures of the world, but we can certainly work on this a little bit. My thought would be, I would like to see, in keeping with the concern of the cease and desist order, to cover, redo, put some duct tape and a new wording on the sign that's up there that says highly recommended or whatever. A fee is recommended until we can sit down at a table and come up with a better agreement. That's just a suggestion that I have. Any thoughts on this?
Bud gets free rent because they can't sublet the property.
Well, we're gonna have to change that in the lease if we redo the lease.
Well, I mean, just in the meantime, until we can.
Well, he's 6 months behind right now.
He's a really good renter.
How about a donation box at the range? Just put up a donation box saying donations for wood or tax,
Well, I think that's a great idea. I don't think anybody would fight that money, but that doesn't help the problem with the insurance.
And it can't be at the range, it would have to be dumped into the clubhouse, because if it was at the range, it would get ransacked, it would look just a little more secure.
I just want to make one more point. This is for John, Mr. Wrestler. I've got pictures of before we cleaned up the range from 25 years ago. And to say that we haven't maintained it, that's not quite accurate.
I didn't say you didn't maintain it, Marvin. Did I say that?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Okay, what did you say?
I said that in number 9 in your lease agreement, it says this, and I read it to you. That's what I said. Don't read shit into what I tell you what I said, buddy.
Easy, Johnny.
No, and I think that was more in response to Mr. Colombo, correct? That he was asking, why is the rifle range, those people not coming up and cleaning it? And my guess is because by your lease, it's on you, you're accountable for that right now. But I do hear you saying that you'd like that to look a little different.
So is there any more discussion right now? Again, I would like to get us out of here. Is there any more discussion, or is there a motion from the council to?
Can I just leave just one comment? So, kind of working back to Rob's comment. So I actually live in Lone Pine now, but I pay $40 a year to use the range over there.
The range in Hot Springs.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a private range.
I believe it's on city property, I'm pretty sure.
But it is a private range, you have to pay a membership to shoot there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which is not what we are at this point. Now, I am hearing that you'd like to change that maybe to get more closer with the times, correct? You'd like it to be a kind of a private, you can't just use it for free, it's a private, you have to be a member to use it like other ranges around us.
That's the only way you're gonna ensure that people are covered under insurance. Because as long as it's,
That's what I
we
mean.
encourage you there's gonna be a large number of people that don't do it, and it'll just be something that'll happen, and then it'll be.
Well,
And unfortunately,
The
those
lawyers
people
will
are
come
still
knocking.
gonna show up if it's wide open and unlocked, because it's not manned all the time.
Yeah.
So those people are still going to show up.
the reason I'm making this suggestion is so that we can cover, so that the trap club can satisfy the requirements of the cease and desist order, and we can come to the table with perhaps a new agreement. So if you were to stop charging, leasing out that property until we make a new agreement, and if you were to, again, cover up that writing on there that says required, and change that, we can come back to the table, and we can go to the table tonight, and move on with this. Again, I appreciate the clear heads, but, yes, sir?
So I'll make a motion that we put together a committee to work with the trap club on this, if they wish to renegotiate their lease, and I would like to chair that committee.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second that. We should have a committee.
Moved and seconded that we put a committee together to work through a new lease. Any last minute discussion? All in favor, we might want to take a voice vote.
Got a question.
Yes.
Would our committee include somebody from Trap Club?
Well, we would be working with the trap club,
Okay.
so
As long as we have everybody.
it would be a joint endeavor to
Okay,
Yeah, I don't think you could make this without the trap club.
yeah, I want everybody to know
Very
where
interesting.
we're going from.
Let's do a voice vote on that, just so that there's clarification.
Okay, Chad,
yes.
Lana,
Yes.
John D,
Yes.
John R,
Yes.
John S,
Yes,
JD.
Okay, motion passes, we'll do that. Also, again, that's, and by the way, that's if y'all are willing to, those stipulations to not charge a lease, we may need to vote on that if you need. Consider that, that's to go ahead and put over the present sign, requested rather than required, and to refrain from charging your renter until we get a new lease figured out.
That brings you guys in compliance with the lease agreement.
Lauren, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here, Joel. I've
Did-
been listening.
Did you, all right, where are you on that?
I mean, like looking at what you said about the renter, yes, that brings us in compliance. I like that everyone's willing to communicate. I'm very happy with how I thought this was going to go in much worse direction. I would be more than happy to partake in that committee, and because I don't think there's any path forward unless we renegotiate.
Okay, very good, thank you, Lauren. Then I would again, thank you for your participation. I would take a motion to adjourn this meeting. All right,
Thanks, Lauren.
thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.